A Christmas story needs to be more than a Hallmark story. Christmas is not a love story with red and green coats. Christmas has to do with the birth of Christ.
The Lord has gifted you in just incredible ways. You're just a master storyteller. I mean, there's crazy twists and turns, but it's drenched in reality. It's drenched in real life. It's always filled with real hope and redemption.
Darkness begets darkness, and light begets light. Any beautiful story you've read, any art that you've ever seen, it's not real. So pray that I find the truest form of the lie that is fiction. When Jesus wanted to make a point, he would turn over a table. If he wanted to tell you just the truth, he would say it plain, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But when he wanted to touch your heart, he told a story. And he gifted me to tell stories. And I will evermore, always, only do that for his glory.
Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the Trans-Siberian Orchestra Winter Tour. I feel like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra has become synonymous with the Christmas season. It's an incredible family-friendly show from ages 8 to 80 and family-friendly prices. So be sure to check out when they're coming to a city near you. To get your tickets, go to trans-siberian.com and don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime Christmas concert. Check them out, trans-siberian.com, and go see them on tour this Christmas.
All right, we're going to do a live podcast episode now with you guys as our studio audience. So that's pretty cool. Are you ready? That's good. A few weeks. Are you ready? Okay. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to the Franklin Theater just down the road if you walk downtown Franklin, and I got to see the premiere of a new Christmas movie called The Christmas Ring that was created by one of the most prolific authors, writers, and now filmmakers in Christian music and beyond. She sold so many books that I think she's on the Parks Department watch list because they've had to cut down so many trees just to print the paper for her books. That was a terrible dad joke, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. But I thought it might be fun. I feel like she's one of the queens of Christmas too. And so I invited her to be here, and she graciously accepted the invitation. So please welcome to the Matthew West podcast and to the Come Home for Christmas weekend in Franklin, Tennessee, my good friend, Karen Kingsbury. Welcome, Karen, to the stage. This is for you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Karen, I get to introduce you to about 300 of the most amazing people who are from all around the country, and these people have supported me as I've come to their cities and their towns, and once a year they come here for this special Christmas weekend together, and I get to introduce them to some of my favorite people, and you're one of my favorite people, so thank you so much for being here. Karen Kingsbury's here, everybody. Look at people standing up in the back for you.
That's so sweet. Well, you're my people and his people. I know that. We're all the same.
That's right.
We're in a family. I always look and it's like, well, it's sold out. So I'm like, shoot, we didn't get in this time. But here we are. So
now, how long have you lived in Tennessee?
14 years now.
14 years. But originally?
We started our journey. I mean, we've been all over the map because my husband coaches. So wherever the coaching position is, that's where you go. Washington State before that, but LA before that. So West Coast, all West Coast things, and 13 years in Washington.
Yeah.
And then, getting to move to Tennessee. We spent the whole first year, and I would just say, like, honey, how did we not find this sooner?
Really?
It's so great.
Right away you felt that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What do you love so much about Tennessee?
Well, I used to say that it felt like, and I still feel like this, like a big church picnic. Like when you, like this feeling, like you could just say, oh, could you get my coat for me? And somebody would. And it was just amazing. I had come here a few times. I'd written, you remember Mark Schultz?
Yes.
So Mark Schultz.
Great singer-songwriter. My first tour was opening for Mark Schultz. In fact, Amy's here, and she she remembers coming to my first concert where I was the opening act for Mark Schultz and Avalon. Pretty crazy.
I became a Christian, as an adult, like as a young adult in my 20s. And Mark Schultz was one of those very impactful people in my life that the music just drew me closer to the Lord. And I loved that. And so I had come to Tennessee 2 or 3 times to do like a book tour. And then Mark and we had gotten to know each other on one of the events, and we would songwrite. Oh. So my instrument is a laptop. So that's
your
about
instrument?
It's not me singing. It's not me playing any instruments, but the laptop. So I would just help with lyrics. Yeah. So I'd be like, oh, you're so blessed to live here. That's just so great. And then finally, my husband was the one. He's here. Hi, hon. It's over there in the
Oh,
back.
awesome. Y'all make some noise. Let's go. The supportive husband.
He's amazing. He doesn't get any better than him. But he finally one day he just said to me, I feel like God is telling us it's time. We can move. We can do this. And so we, told the kids we're thinking of moving. And literally, we made the decision July 4th. And by August 1st, we were living here in a hotel. But we were living here. Yeah.
And never looked back.
Never looked back.
Do you feel like Tennessee, like there's something about this community? I mean, obviously I feel this way because of the music part of it, but in your world with your instrument being a laptop, do you still feel like there's this creative atmosphere that promotes more creativity in your world as you sit down to write? Is there something special about this place?
Yeah, there really is. When you're here, and you could go to any coffee shop, church coffee shop, wherever you want to go, if it's warmer than it is today, if it may be a park, and you just feel the creativity. I think it's interesting because darkness begets darkness and light begets light. So here, where you have so many people creating for Jesus, that's contagious. And I wonder if it isn't just contagious. Like, I wonder if we could see the spiritual world the way it really is, the things that are actually more real than what we can see and touch, that if we could actually see it, there's some beautiful, angelic, like there's a covering here. And it's never been, even as people come and the place grows, that hasn't changed.
That's pretty awesome. I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way. Do you feel like you've written, total number of books that you've written in your career now? What's the total number?
I really don't. I'm going to say.
Have you lost count?
I've lost count.
That means you're prolific. If you've lost count of how many books. I should have Googled that and told you. I know you should. You would know.
Well, some people say nearly 100, but they're talking about kids' books, like, devotionals. But novels, it's around 60, 62, something like that.
Round of applause for that. That's unbelievable. Having sat down and tried to make my laptop my instrument, I know exactly how challenging, how taxing, and how difficult that process is. But you make it look easy.
But can we give it up for his books? Because you do a phenomenal job with your books. I love them.
Well, I got a long way to go to get to that many. But do you have this? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question I never like to be asked. And my answer, when someone's like, oh, what's your favorite song that you've ever written? My answer is always my next one. Just because I'm like always thinking positive. You know what I mean? Like, well, the best is yet ahead, But do you feel that way? Or is there something you look back over your body of work that you've written over the years and you go, okay, for this reason, that one will always, and they're all, it's like picking your favorite kid, which you really can't do either. You're not allowed to, I don't think.
It's so funny. Literally your words are what I say. When people ask me, I'm like, well, they're like kids. You can't pick your favorite. And then I often will say, you cheer for the one who's on stage. So when Lulu's on stage singing, you're cheering for Lulu, right? When Delaney's doing something,
right.
So it's like that for me too. That the book right now is The Christmas Ring, obviously, but and I love it, and I just am so excited that it honors the military. I love it, but when I look back, there are a few. I would say one Tuesday morning, because it was inspired by the events of 9/11. And then a lot of people in the room don't even know what 9/11 is, and it's going to, time goes. But I was so just touched by the sacrifice of the firefighters running up the stairs. And I wrote a story that God gave me that day. And you know how that is. I mean, God just gives it to you. That's what it is. And then you obey and write it about a firefighter and a businessman with an uncanny resemblance. And only one of them comes out of the building. There's a mistaken identity situation that happens, and the firefighter is a family man and a promise keeper. I mean, he's just a great man of God, a great father. His wife's an atheist, and she feels like as long as there's firefighter funerals, then how could there be a God? So she's in the opposite camp, and his constant prayer is that her heart will change. And so the person who lives in this is this businessman who's a complete promise breaker. And he's from the West Coast, but he has an uncanny resemblance. So when everything comes down, he gets shot underneath this fire truck, and people think it's the fireman, but he's got a head injury, amnesia, doesn't know who he is. So this wife gets to teach him how to be the family man he never was with her husband's Bible. And along the way, it's life-changing for her too. So that'll always be one of my favorite.
Just the way you just laid that out. I'm like, is this not a movie to be made?
It
at
needs
some
to
point
be.
too?
I know we just need a bigger budget for that one, but I do think it would be. I think it'd be a great movie. It really would.
So speaking of, though, when you sit down to write your books, your novels, your stories, do you see a movie playing out in your head even before your books turned into shows and movies? Is that how that works?
It always is.
'Cause I've never written stories like that.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, even when I listen to Matthew's songs, because he is such a phenomenal songwriter, just phenomenal songwriter. Yeah, I mean, I'm always like, well, I get 80,000 words to tell a story. I should be able to do that, right? You get 3 or 4 minutes, it's not that much, but you still tell a story. I'll hear one of your songs, and then God will there's like a movie goes on in my head.
Like, tell me what movie you would make if the song was Gobble Gobble. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you, it would be a compilation of the home videos of my grandkids singing it around the house.
Go. Low budget film is what you're saying. I get it. But tell me what's in your mind. Like, are you seeing the movie play out?
Yeah.
Because I can't wait we're going to talk about the Christmas ring. And I got to watch it, and it was unbelievable. And it was such a sweet story. But I'm wondering, while you're writing the story, if you're seeing it play out, and then what that's like to see it actually go to camera.
Well, it is very much visual. I see it in my head like a movie because the Lord puts it there. So he puts it in my head like a movie. And every detail is not totally clear, but as I write it, first I write an outline, and the outline gives me an ability to get it right before I start. Writing a book is like swimming across the ocean. Like, I know how to do it, but it's still hard. And so I always want to get the outline right so I don't swim 5 miles in the wrong direction before I get the book started. But then, when I'm writing, I write really quickly. And I think you're that way. You can make a song up right here. But maximum, it shouldn't take me more than 2 weeks to write a novel.
Wait.
So that's...
It's
the thing we don't tell my editor.
She just threw that out there. 2 weeks to write a novel? How many? And that's 80,000 words?
Well, that'd be 100,000, and they're really not 100 anymore. So 80, we lost our attention span along the way. So 80 is a full-length novel.
That hurts my head. Like, when I'm the kid that was trying to see how big I could make the font on my papers before. Can I use pictures? Like, can we?
Big margins.
So do you ever... With the outline, that means you know how it's going to end before you start?
Yes,
Do you ever surprise yourself where you get to the end and you're like, wait a minute, I just thought of something. This person needs to go here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the Baxters. I had, the Baxter books. I have probably 20-some books about the Baxters, and they're...
Which have sold like millions of copies.
They have.
Holy
They've been
cow.
just, thank you all for loving those books. It's been so fun to see what God's done with the Baxters. There are 3 seasons of the Baxters are on Prime Video. That's
right.
Part of what's going on with that, and hopefully more. They own it, so it's a tougher one.
Amazon owns?
Mm-hmm. They it was MGM, but Amazon bought MGM, so they own it. We're
so
in
you
conversation.
can watch that over the holiday season.
Yeah,
on
you can
Amazon
watch
Prime.
that. Yeah, it's still there. The first 3 seasons, and but in my first original drafts of the Baxters, it was 5 books, period, and it was going to be Ashley who passed at the end of the 5 books, and she ends up being like a main character. Even now, 25 books in, she's still like a main character. So God just...
Okay, so even though you had the outline, you're flexible and you're letting the story go where it needs to go, and then you're having aha moments along the way.
Yeah, so that was the crazy thing. I was at a soccer game watching our kids play soccer. It was Washington. It was a rainy day. Rain had lifted, but it was just damp and wet. And the woman, like 6 people down, 6 chairs down, she was talking to her friend. She was probably maybe in her late 60s. And she said, Ethel, she goes, I really wish one day our whole family could be here to watch Joey play soccer. And the woman said, what do you mean the whole family? And she said, have I not told you when my husband and I were younger, we had a child out of wedlock. And my parents made us, I had to go to a halfway house, have the baby, and they gave the child up for adoption. And I never had any say And so we never got to see this child. And we went on to have 4 kids, and they don't know their oldest sibling. And this is the way we have to live. We have no choice. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I think that happened to the Baxters. I think it was the Baxters. And I think what happened was they had a son, had no choice. She had to give it away. They weren't married yet. She had to give the baby up for adoption, place the baby willingly. And the baby was adopted by a missionary couple. But when he was 18, they were living in Indonesia, and they were in a small plane, and the plane crashed in the jungle, and he was left orphaned again. And he moved to LA, and he became the biggest actor. He was Chris Pratt, the biggest actor in Milan. But the only thing he never could get, no money, no success, no power, could ever get the family he never had. And that was the Baxters. So that was all like in one, like it wasn't even halftime. And I was like, what am I? Like I called my agent and I said, 5 is not the number. There's a lot more than 5 boats out
there.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah,
we should cheer for that, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, note to self, watch what you talk about around Karen Kingsbury. If she's within earshot.
That's for sure.
Or if she's got, when I was a kid, there was a commercial for Whisper 2000. Where you could put headphones on and listen to the other. Do you have Whisper 2000 where you're listening to conversations?
I should. That probably help my work, because it's things that.
But inspired by real life, which
inspired.
is why people I think are so attracted to your writing too, because it's like, there's crazy twists and turns, but it's drenched in reality. It's drenched in real life, and it's always filled with real hope and redemption. Why is it so important for you? And this will be the perfect segue to get into this latest movie that's out. But I think I know the answer to this, but why is it important for you to have the words that you put on a page ultimately, as you're outlining, there's that arc that's going to lead to this place of hope and redemption and ultimately pointing people to Jesus. But why is that so important to you?
Well, again, I gave my life to Jesus in my mid-20s. I met my husband working out at a health club, and he came up and started talking to me, which is, a lost art, because he doesn't hit me up on my DMs, he just has to come up, talk to me in person. And he was just in love with Jesus. He hadn't found a church, but he was reading the Bible, and we began having these Bible conversations while we dated, and they were always frustrating to me because I wasn't versed in the Bible. So we, at a 3-month mark in our dating, I did the most awful thing. I took his Bible, and I was so tired of him bringing it up, and I threw it on the ground and broke it. Now, I wasn't trying to break it, and even if I had just thrown it on the ground, I still deserved to be struck by lightning in that moment. But it was a bad moment. But I went to a Bible bookstore for the first time when they existed back then, and I asked somebody, I needed a Bible in English so that I could understand, and I wanted to prove him wrong on some of the things he was taking away from Scripture. And he wasn't trying to sell me. He wasn't trying to convert me. He was in love with it. Thought it was the most amazing thing to him. And he'd come from a broken family. Talk about your family tree, your song. He really relates to that. And so I took the Bible out to the car with a concordance, no apps. So I carried the big, heavy books out and looked up the things that I thought should be there about my way of living, things I thought would be okay or whatever. And they just weren't there. And I could hear the Lord saying, well, Karen, you can either fall away with your man-made beliefs or grab onto my word and never let go. So the answer of the question is, I was rescued by Jesus. He rescued me. He saved me. He's everything to me. That will always be true, whether it's in vogue or not. I'm grateful to see the revival in Gen Z going on. So grateful, and continue to pray for it. But even if it's not that. So when I write, you have to know that I'm an evangelist disguised as an author. I'm writing a story, and they don't all have happy endings, and there are hard things. But, whether you want to go to John 16:33, in this world there will be trouble, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Or Romans 8:28, that in all things God works to the good for those who love him. Whatever way you want to look at it, hard things are going to happen, but I can show you in a story, as Jesus did, and God bless you down here in the front row. But I can tell you, when Jesus wanted to make a point, he would turn over a table. If he wanted to tell you just the truth, he would say it plain, I am the way, the truth, and the life. But when he wanted to touch your heart, he told a story. And he gifted me to tell stories. And I will evermore, always, only do that for his glory.
Amen. That's awesome. Well said.
Thanks.
Well said. So we get to talk today during Christmas season, and I did the Christmas tree lighting in Franklin, Tennessee last night. And it's
Beautiful.
This magical place, right? And we get to invite our friends to come in and experience Christmas time and kind of really ring in the Christmas season. When you open your laptop and you're not just writing any story, but you're turning your thoughts and attention towards Christmas. First of all, what's extra special about writing a story that's Christmas related, and how much does the Franklin, Tennessee experience find its way into what inspires your writing?
Well, I guess Franklin is the original Hallmark town, first of all.
Feels
Let's
like
say
it.
that. I mean, I don't know how it doesn't change even year after year, even with the
Right.
growth. It's amazing that it's still that way. But for me, a Christmas story needs to be more than a Hallmark story. I mean, it has to be at an elevated level, because Christmas is not a love story with red and green coats. It is not. Christmas has to do with the birth of Christ.
That's right.
And so one of the things, this was the very first time that I ever was able to write the book second. So it was a script. So Tyler, my son
For the
Tyler and
Christmas
I,
ring.
for the Christmas ring.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had this 9-act outline that we'd kind of set aside, and it came up in conversation that, hey, this might make a good movie for one of the streaming platforms. One of the execs, one of the networks had, said, hey, would you be interested in working on this for us for this Christmas? And originally that's where it started. We were just going to do that, but that fell through. And now we have this 9-act that we're turning into a script. And I said, we're in Christmas town. Like, we should just go ahead and make it here. We'll make it with our own production company. And so while we were working on the script, all I kept seeing as an author, as a novelist, was everything we couldn't put in the script. Script's 90 pages with like this, your text is so narrow on a script, and it's double spaced, so it's very few words. And the best scripts do have very few words, because you have to let the actors act, you don't want to overwrite it. But I kept being like, oh, I want to know what that was like when Bill Bailey found the ring on D-Day. Like, I want to know what he was thinking and feeling, and I wouldn't get that in the movie. We get a bit of him, the opening, know. But a book is the only way to tell more of the story. And that's why I think with the Christmas ring, you could actually watch the movie and read the book second, like I wrote it, because you'll just get more of the story that way.
Oh, that's awesome. And so the story of the Christmas ring, let's talk just a little bit about it for those who haven't gotten to see it yet. It had it's a limited run in theaters across the country. I told you I was in Fargo, North Dakota, and I saw a poster in the Fargo Theater, so you were well represented there next to it was your movie. I'm like, hey, I know her.
Now, what was
Santa,
it?
I know him.
They have some great theater chains out there, by the way. They're very friendly to who we all are. So
In Fargo? Well, I think it's because it's so cold. They gotta it's the theater.
you better hope for something more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the story. We were so touched to be able to go and see the premiere at the Franklin Theater, and it was such a sweet story, directed by your son.
Yep.
And then both your sons are involved in the film, right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that first of all. One director, one actor.
Yeah, so the family has just been, our family's very artsy, and even EJ, one of our sons that we adopted from Haiti,
Wrote an incredible children's book.
Yes, he has a children's book about his experience being adopted from Haiti.
My wife read that and just cried.
So
and cried.
sweet.
She's like, oh, he wrote the best book.
And he wrote it. I mean, one might think, if my son writes a children's book, that how much of it did I write? None of it,
Wow.
not one word. So, we all are very artsy, and we love working together and glorifying God through what we do together. So Austin loves to act. He had a small part in Someone Like You, our first Karen Kingsbury movie. And he played the role of Matt, and he didn't get the girl, but in The Christmas Ring, in the younger romance, he does get the girl. He does get the girl. He's just
Did he have you change the script this time?
Yeah, he's like,
come on, Mom.
enough. Enough. He's an Army Ranger in it, but it's not, his isn't the main storyline. This story is about a Gold Star widow who has lost her husband in, overseas, fighting overseas. He was a medic. He was killed by an IED. And now she's 4 years past that, but now she's also lost this ring that her great-grandfather found in France on D-Day. And it's a beautiful ring. It looks like this because we sold a replica for a while. we were over inundated with the orders, but anyway, it looks like that. And so we don't sell it anymore. That's just we couldn't. But anyway,
you were selling the Christmas ring?
We were selling the ring. This ring.
And you had so many orders.
It was crazy. And so the poor vendor, it was like white flag. I can't do it. It was a limited thing. But anyway, so she lost the ring. So now what she does is she's just dropped her daughter off at college, 18 summers. Just dropped her off, and she decides to cheer herself up. She'll stop at an antique shop, which she does occasionally, to look for the ring. And so she just pops in and she just is praying. She's always praying if she can find that ring. And instead, at this particular shop, she meets Ben Miller, and he's a widow as well, a widower. And he is basically not ever fallen in love again during this time. Works with his father, owns the shop, this Miller's Antiques, and his dad is played by Kelsey Grammer, in the movie. And
he was so great, as you would expect.
Great. I mean, we have a thing called Video Village where you sit on set to watch how it's playing so you can see how it's going to look on the screen. And I was crying back there, just like, what in the world? This is so beautiful. But anyway, it's a story about second chances. And we actually needed 100 background actors who would be military. And I decided to just throw it up on my story and ask if there were any people who were military, retired or active, that would like to be in the movie and play a military person. I had 100 people respond. Everybody you see except for Austin, who would if he could, but he was born with a heart thing that he can't be a Army Ranger. But every other person who you see in uniform in the Christmas ring, they're actually military. Wow. So that was really fun to do that. But it's a story of second chances, and we, when Christmas gives you the chance to talk about Jesus more, because it is his birthday. And so Luke 2, we have a scene where Ben is reading Luke 2, and he's reading it to, he's actually retelling it to the children. And I just love that it's a way to point people back to Jesus during Christmas. And we had some funny moments with a Santa who would interrupt, like a near kiss kind of thing, and the Santa would walk by ringing his bell. But at the end, he walks by at the very end of the movie, but he walks by a manger scene. This is what you get to do when you make your own movie. This would never have flown in any studio film. So he walks by, and it's like, oh, there he is again, that funny guy. There he goes. And he walks by, but he stops at the manger. And he looks at it, and he raises his hands up. Like that visual of like the kneeling Santa, the idea of Santa giving glory to Jesus. It was, because there's a lot of humor in the movie too, so that's a fun thing. But it was a dream come true.
Well, everybody needs to see The Christmas Ring. It was the sweetest story, and the one danger for husbands, because as we left the movie, my wife's like, I think you should buy me a Christmas ring. I was like, dang it, Karen Kingsbury. But it's such a sweet story, and the Lord has gifted you in just incredible ways. You're just a master storyteller, and I know that just like I like to believe with my songs, I believe the best is still yet to come. Amen. I do have to say, though, I don't want to brag, but I do want to throw my name in the hat for your next film. I do have some acting experience. I played the friendly neighbor in a made-for-television Christmas film, actually, with Candace Cameron.
Yes, I think Kelsey was in that. I think my daughter was in that.
Yeah,
Wasn't she have a little role?
Right. It was called The Heart of Christmas.
The Heart of Christmas, which,
and
again, his songs make good stories.
Well, they put me in. I got to be the friendly neighbor. I think I had one line or two lines.
I think.
Would you like me to recite it for you? Would you guys mind if I audition for Karen for a second?
Let's do it, please.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Let me just give me a second. I think it's what they call method acting. Okay, you ready? Good morning. Thank you. That was my line. I said hello to the neighbor. Well, that felt really good. I could do it again if you needed.
Well, I think I remember at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was some talk of awards for that. Wasn't there
I thought I overlooked, you know what I mean?
I think so. We did call on our own friendly neighbor for this movie. We just were like, we needed somebody we honestly wanted someone who could sing and, who could carry on one of the roles of the friends of Jana Kramer plays
Yes.
our lead, Vanessa Mayfield. Anyway, my neighbor is Debbie Winans, Cece's sister, Debbie Winans.
Yes, and she's great
yeah,
in the
she's
film.
great. She's never been in a movie. So I was like, hey, Debbie, you know how you can sing really well? Well, I would love to use your Oh Holy Night in the song, in the end credits, but I would love for you to be the neighbor. And we won't be hard. Tyler will direct you. You'll get it. And she was like all in. She did
She
so
looked
well.
like a star,
It's
too.
so good. And then Jesse James Decker as well, who lives
recording
here.
artist.
Yeah, so she and she was amazing. She was a friend of Jana's and asked if she could play the friend of Jana. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like a stretch. I could probably do that. So anyway, we had some really fun local, and I love doing that. We only had Kelsey and Ben Hollingsworth, who was the male lead. They were the only two not from right here in Franklin.
Well, and I believe, I know Kelsey Grammer was in the movie. I got to work just on the music side on the movie Jesus Revolution.
Yeah.
And he was part of that film. And, I don't know where he's at in his faith, but it sure, he seems to be a man of faith. And I've heard him speak a little bit on some different interviews, but just to be in this world with you is really cool too.
We always pray, the world could end, like the Lord could return before the movie comes out. So is it worth putting the time and money and effort into making a movie? It's a real decision. Nobody would say you should make your own movie and pay for it. Nobody would ever. That's terrible financial advice. But we feel called to do that and really thankful that we can. And so one thing we need to do then is the set has to be at church. And so it becomes that. Tyler will lead the whole entire cast and crew in prayer before we start every day, no matter what. Every penny costs a lot of money. But you have to have time for Jesus first. So he would pray. And then we just overfeed people with whatever they want, just as much spoiled as we can make them, like fresh juices or whatever it takes to make people feel. It was 108. We're filming Christmas, and you had to find something. So amidst that was Kelsey, and Kelsey Grammer and I got to be very close. The sister that was murdered back when they were teens, her name was Karen. So he said, you are going to be my second Karen. Oh. And I got the chance to put my hand on his shoulder and pray for him so many times. He actually asked me to pray for something that you would resonate as a storyteller with this. He said, pray that I'll find the true lie. And I said, the true lie. And I couldn't really understand what he meant at first. And he said, now think about it. The Sistine Chapel, any beautiful story you've read, any art that you've ever seen, it's not real. It's a lie. It's a poetic lie. It's not real. But he said, I don't want what I do to feel like it's a lie. I want it to feel like it's the truth and that it rings. He said, I think I've finally gotten to a place where I could play Howard Miller, a man of faith. And I think I can play it genuinely. So pray that I find the truest form of the lie that is fiction. This is not a documentary, And so I did. I prayed that for him, and then I would text him and say, you found it. And I sent him a giving key with true lie on it at the end, and a Bible, because I was telling him about how I write in Bibles for my kids and present it to them with letters all through it. And he loved it. And he has a lot of kids. He just had a baby. This what 70 something, whatever he is.
Wow.
Yeah, just had a baby. But I sent him a copy of, not a copy, but a Bible, a note taker's NIV Bible. And so we have kept a close rapport. In fact, last week he was like, you're going to vote, right? You guys have a special election coming. Yeah. Yes, Kelsey will be voting. Anyway, yes, he is very much in love with Jesus and still also in Los Angeles, where it's hard to see the straight lines all the time. But yeah, if you have a thought of it, pray for him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just had a movie idea that I do want to pitch you. Picture this. So this guy gets booked to go and host the White House Christmas tree lighting. Okay. And he goes to a reception at the White House, and they have a buffet with shrimp cocktail.
I was picturing shrimp.
But the guy doesn't want to eat too much shrimp cocktail before he meets the president.
Okay.
So this is what happens. Okay. This is where, in my outline, right?
So
he decides, I'm not going to eat the shrimp cocktail, but I really want to.
Right.
But I'm going to go take a picture with the president first.
That is a conflict.
So doesn't eat the shrimp cocktail, right? Goes in to meet with the president.
I can picture it.
Comes back out thinking, now I can have all I can eat, all he can eat, the character.
Yes, character.
Shrimp cocktail. Instead, they hand him his coat and walk him out of the White House, never to return, and never got to eat the shrimp cocktail. So live your life with no regrets.
Wow. No regrets.
Eat the shrimp cocktail
The shrimp
while
cocktail.
you can.
That's right.
And maybe Kelsey Grammer's in it or something.
I think you're right. I think we would have to have maybe would it be Brad Pitt? No, probably Chris Pratt would play you.
Wait, I didn't say it was
not
me.
you.
This is a totally fictitious story.
I'm liking it. I'm like, what do you call it? Christmas on Ice, or
See, that's amazing. She's got it. What's that? We can do the ice. Yeah.
There
this
you
is
go. Film it at
amazing.
the Opry.
Christmas
There we
on,
go.
by the way, they brought me a platter of shrimp cocktail.
I
that I'm
did
gonna
see it
eat
back
later
there. I
today.
think it's not going to last long, but that's right.
Karen Kingsbury, you're the best, and I'm so thankful that you would accept this invitation to be here and to encourage all these folks this Christmas.
Thank you
Karen
all.
Kingsbury, everybody.
Thank you all. So fun.
Let's pray for Karen. Can we do that? Lord, we love you. We thank you for Karen and her awesome husband. You have blessed them so much and their family. Just incredible people doing great things for the kingdom. I pray just for continued inspiration, vision, and just continued boldness. As she said, they stepped out and just funded this movie and just believed it was something that needed to go out and encourage the world. So we know that you're going to honor that form of continued creativity and boldness, and you'll just continue. You're the master storyteller, but I know how proud you are of the storyteller that you've created in Karen, and may many powerful stories continue to flow from that pen. In Jesus' name, amen. One more time, give it up for Karen, everybody.